Welcome to another episode of the Style and Strategy podcast. I'm your host, Sonya, and I'm really excited to have you here. Before I get into today's episode, I wanted to let you know, you're going to hear it here first. I have a brand and style challenge coming up in the next couple of weeks. So if you are interested to have a 3 with bonus day, 4-day brand and style challenge and really get your engines firing when it comes to your personal brand and style before we hit holiday season, let me know and I will send you the link to come and join my 3-day challenge. So over those 3 days, I am going to take you where you can learn some actionable tips, but actually put them into action each day. I'm going to give you a little bit of an activity each day. We're going to work through your brand and your style and how to really pull together your outfits and discover some of those hidden gems that you might have in your wardrobe that you may not have realized or you may have forgotten about. So we're going to try to maximize what we've already got. And then I'm going to take you through some concepts that I talk about a lot in a lot of my programs, such as a concept called the ladder of elevation, as well as being able to make your wardrobe work harder for you so you can really get some more bang for buck, whether it is work through to weekend, because we are one person and we shouldn't really have a work wardrobe and a weekend wardrobe. We should be able to have a wardrobe that can seamlessly blend together. Anyway, so I'm super excited about that coming up. So if you are interested, I will pop some details into the show notes. Otherwise, you can always drop me a note. So drop me a DM or email me as well to find out more. I'm Sonya, a personal brand and style coach. My journey began in the corporate world and through lived experiences has led me where I am today. I've walked in those uncomfortable shoes, faced the same challenges and questioned my path to professional success while simultaneously navigating my personal style journey and the challenges that each decade brings. I wholeheartedly believe in the fusion of personal brand and style strategy. My mission here is to provide you with practical, actionable strategies and lived experiences to help you unlock your next level of success through the power of personal brand and style. Let's get started. Okay, let's get into today's episode. So it is all about inspiration when it comes to your outfits. And why is it that I hear from so many clients that they are no longer inspired by their wardrobe? And really, feedback is that they say it's feeling a little bit dull, plain, and boring, and they don't know why. So I want to talk a little bit around 3 reasons why that might be happening to you and how we actually get that spark back. So normally the conversation starts a little bit around why is it that I have a wardrobe that I'm no longer excited to wear anymore? And you trust me, you are not alone in that department. It happens to everyone. And many of sort of the, driven high impact women that I work with, really can get to a point where they feel the same. Your outfits used to maybe inspire you a little bit, but now it just feels like you're going through the motions. And today I want to take you through 3 reasons why this happens. And more importantly, how to inject that spark back into your wardrobe. And really connecting between what I would say is your wardrobe or your closet, your style, and then your personal brand as well, because all of those are interconnected. So, but firstly, why does this even matter? Because your wardrobe, drum roll here, it's not just about the clothes, okay? It is about how you actually express yourself. It's about your brand. It's about how you feel and when it comes to your confidence. And when your outfits really stop inspiring you, that is a clear signal that something needs to change. And if you ignore that signal, it's going to just get worse and worse, and it will impact how you start to show up. So I want you to really start to pay attention when that signal starts to happen. And I'm going to really cover off on what you can do about it. Okay, so reason one, you stick to the same outfits on repeat. Now, I'm not talking about signature style here. I'm not talking about a particular outfit formula. I mean, when you feel like I keep wearing the same outfits over and over again and you feel bored, right? That's the key piece there. You feel bored because it feels comfortable and it feels way too familiar for you. And you're just over it, really. And so if you are no longer inspired by what you're wearing, then it's hard to feel inspired about other areas in your life as well, because you start to fall down a bit of a pattern. So what's the impact when it comes to your personal brand? When you stick to same looks that are no longer inspiring to you, it means that you're not evolving for where your personal brand is sitting today and or where you want it to go in the future. It sends a bit of a message that you may be feeling a bit static, when in reality, your brand and style should really evolve and grow as you progress. You know, one way to really break this cycle is to incorporate one new piece or one new accessory, maybe each week. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a complete full wardrobe overhaul. You know, that's all great when it comes to, seeing, oh, we're going to do a full makeover on TV or in the movies. Yes, all of that is fun and exciting, but it doesn't have to be that way. Right? Because I know many of us and I'm a massive advocate of this, it is around curation of the wardrobe that you really want and making considered purchases for the direction that you're heading into. And, it could be maybe you start to introduce maybe a bit of an accessories like a scarf, or maybe it's a statement piece that you haven't had before, just to start to kickstart and reinvigorate your style and make you really feel like you're stepping into something new. But that is just the beginning, right? Because the second reason why your outfits might no longer be inspiring you anymore digs a little bit deeper into how we avoid stepping into our true style. So, reason number 2, you are potentially avoiding incorporating pieces that actually reflect your personality. I'm going to pause there for a second. Just have a think about that, because sometimes we're in a bit of denial around this. So are you avoiding pieces that are, really where you want to go and that reflect your personality? Because comfort is one example where it can become a little bit of a safety net, and you can fall back on and really rely on, core basics and so forth. But over time, you might be thinking, I'm never really going to wear that potential statement piece. And I'm not talking event wear here, that statement piece, because it's not practical. So I'll just stick to these basic. But if you continue to do that, what can actually happen is you start to lose a little bit of your personality, which is fundamentally your brand. And so now there is a disconnect between how you want to feel and how you want to present yourself. So you need to remember that Your personal brand is really a reflection of who you are today, not who you were 5 years ago or who the practical version of yourself is. Because if you are not evolving your wardrobe to reflect your current personality, your current values, then you're effectively holding yourself back from showing up as you really authentically want to be. And I really want you to think about that, because sometimes our practical side can take over and we're never as happy. So let me give you a little bit of a personal story around this. I went through a phase where I really wanted particular brands and particular pieces. However, that practical side of me kept saying, but you're never going to wear that. Or it's not going to really fit in. And whereas my practical side kept saying, well, but you could just find the cheaper version of that. And then what was happening was, as I stepped into that and purchasing that cheaper version, what would happen is I'd never be happy with it because I wasn't happy with the quality of it. And the pattern wasn't just quite right. The fit may have just not been quite right. And so that was a massive learning for me to go, well, actually, I have to practice what I preach. And that I will get the piece that I really want, because that is the piece that I am going to wear time and time again. And that really aligns with my values. And what I was doing was actually just leaning too much into, other things that were floating up in my mind as such. And so that's why it's so important when it comes to your personal brand, really understanding, well, what is important to you? What is your values? What are you potentially holding back on that might stop you from showing up as authentically as you want to? So a little tip around this is start by identifying a few pieces that really speak to your personality. That might be bold patterns. It might be edgy accessories. It might be a power color that makes you feel like you. And by integrating those pieces into your wardrobe, you will start to feel a little bit more excited when you step out that door. But if comfort has been your go-to for a while, the next key point really is settling for comfort over your style can potentially sabotage your personal brand. And I know many of you listening to the podcast, I'm big advocates of comfort and style. And so am I, right? Because if you're not comfortable in your style, then you're not going to feel confident either. But this is more around coming back to my story of that practicality piece. If that is overarching your personal brand and your style, it can lead to a level of comfort factor that makes you feel like it's boring and you no longer feel like you again. So because you've started to settle for that comfort style piece, okay? So I really want to make that clear differentiation. So we've all been there, right? Reaching for that same comfortable piece over and over again because they're safe, they're easy. But that means you are neglecting your personal brand and where that's evolving to. And over time, you'll start to feel a bit uninspired because it doesn't align with that ambitious, driven person that you are and that you've become, or that's where you've decided that's where you're heading to. And so while comfort is important, style is actually how you communicate who you are and what you stand for. If your wardrobe doesn't reflect your growth, it's not just your clothes that feel stuck. It's going to impact your confidence and the way that you show up in the world, because that's going to take a real hit too. And I don't want that for you. So start by swapping out one comfort piece and go with something a little bit more edgier, or something that makes you feel like you, the real you that maybe you've been too scared to step into. And whether that's, popping on something that's moving from something like a basic piece to something with a little bit more fun, those small steps can start to really reignite some spark back into your wardrobe. So, to recap, your wardrobe isn't inspiring anymore because you maybe are repeating those same outfits and potentially avoiding pieces that really reflect your personality, and you might be settling for comfort over style too many times. And so those three mistakes can really create a disconnect between who you are and how you're presenting yourself to the world. So I want you to, leave this episode thinking and remembering that your style is a core part of your personal brand. And so when you reconnect with it and start dressing in a way that really reflects your growth, your ambition, for want of a better word, your true self, you'll notice the spark starts to come back into how you feel about your wardrobe and a presence. And so if this resonates with you, I would say to you, take a moment and have a look at your wardrobe and ask yourself the question, are you really dressing for the woman you are today and the woman you plan to be in the future? And, if not, then is it time to shake things up a little bit? And if you need a little bit of help along that journey, I have some incredible resources to be able to help you refresh your style and bring that inspiration and spark back to your personal brand. And I'll pop a few of those in the show notes. But if you really want to do a little bit of an audit around that and you'd like some help from me, please feel free to book in for a complimentary brand and style audit, and we'll figure out what those gaps are for you and what that plan is to go forward and start to make a change. And really, as you head into the end of the year, this is the opportunity to start thinking about, what does 2025 look like for you? Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Style and Strategy podcast. And I look forward to hearing about whether you have been able to get that spark back. Let me know. Thank you so much for being part of this inspiring episode. If you found value in today's discussion, please don't keep it a secret. Share it with a friend on social media, tag me at Your Style Collective, and leave a review. Your support means the world. Join me again next week for another empowering episode of Style and Strategy, the leadership series. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, you're already taking that first step towards your transformation journey. See you next time.